Welcome back to the One Line Away podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tyler Weber.
And this is Cassie Weber. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about fear. The thought that our someday will never come is probably the scariest reality about all of this. For us, fear is a constant battle. And that battle has not been overcome yet. Fear of being infertile, fear of going through infertility, fear of never getting out of your infertility journey affects your past, your present, and your future. Fear of the past is something that is a constant reflection.
It's like the cause of all three.
Yeah.
It's the fear of your past is what causes your fear of the now and the future.
Yeah. I can't help but feel that the fear of everything we've been through, it's not just like it repeating itself. It's not just the fear of, gosh, are we ever going to get out of this? It's everything. It's even the thought that if we do get to the other side, quote unquote, this part of our life, this journey, has imprinted so much on our hearts. And that's debilitating sometimes.
Yeah, it's encompassed us.
Yeah.
The fear has turned into as you said, it literally has been our reality. It has been, we wake up every day and we have those thoughts of, are we ever going to be parents? Are we ever going to get out of this? Is it this month that we're going to do it? No, it's not this month. Is it next month? Are we going to see something on Facebook? Like there's fear of every little thing, of all the topics that we've pretty much talked about. They all have something to do with fear.
And you know what I hate about fear with infertility? I hate that there's no way out of it. You just have to sit in it. No one can make it better. Sure, you can try to comfort and support, but fear is not something that you can just erase temporarily.
No. Fear it's like engraved in infertility.
Yeah.
You didn't even know about it. You know about infertility, and then you all of a sudden have this other thing called fear. And it's the fear of everything.
I think how we sit right now is there's so much fear right now. I think it's the thoughts, the overwhelming thoughts that do not stop. When you are in the waiting period or waiting time, whether that's just life while walking this journey or with a decision that's going to be made or a decision you don't know will ever come to be made, when you sit in the waiting, there's no control. And so what sets in
it's the fear of no control.
Yeah.
It's the fear of the same thing as the past, right? I mean, and you can kind of roll in the future too with that, but the present fear that we have is just every single day.
Yeah. I feel like lately, for me, I am in a much healthier spot right now mentally. And I am scared that I'm waiting for the pen to drop of going into another spiral of darkness.
Yeah.
I'm scared at how much growth I've had. One thing will make it flop. And that's what I sit with right now. My present fear is all about my mental health, because publicly we have decided to go on this journey of the podcast. And I feel like there's also a bit of pressure on myself to maintain the strength to be the shoulder that someone needs to cry on when I still need that too. I'm still sad. I'm still scared. I'm still so broken by sitting where we're sitting right now.
Yeah, we have I feel like we have the tools though to be able to get out of it. I feel like we have the tools, and we've helped people with tools.
Yeah.
That if they have that fear, or if they feel like they're spiraling or whatever it is, like, you're able to either listen to one of our episodes or reach out to us or reach out to that person that is like your comfort zone.
Yeah.
And be able to not go down that spiral. Because I've had the same thoughts too, where you're like, oh man, if we start doing another transfer and it fails again.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge fear. Like, that's a big fear. I don't want to go down that. And obviously you don't want to be negative going into it, but you also want to be prepped. And I feel like if it were to happen, it's one of those things where we have to maybe go back and listen to our own episodes.
Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Just start at 1 and go all the way to 16 or wherever we're at now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to be that, because we've given advice that not only have we used, but
we've been able to survive through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another thing about living in fear in the present is I'm so fixed on, have we missed something? Is there something that we have not tested or connected, or maybe needing to retest? I'm so scared that maybe all this time I could have saved myself from that loss, or those 2 losses, or that embryo loss. Like, I can't help but sometimes feel so overwhelmed by the hidden truth that could be there that I don't know is there, if it is. And gosh, I feel like if you are listening to this or watching this on the other side, if you are a part of the unexplained infertility diagnosis, that diagnosis is such a joke. And I don't mean that in the way that could come across as like being like nasty about it. I mean, like, it's not good enough. It's not a good enough diagnosis. It's not giving me any hope, anything. It's given me nothing but worse everything. It's highlighted, and it's exposed so much of nothing. Mm-hmm. It's an empty corner that you can't do anything. And I'm sitting right now in some thoughts and some even like conversations or like even with recent conversations with our doctors of, trying things that we've already done before, but just maybe throwing it at the wall because why not? I'm really upset right now that I feel like I'm still not being taken seriously. That it's, well, you've done this before, but let's just do it again. Or, like, you don't need to test that. Like, I'm sick and tired of being told I don't need something because they don't think that it's relevant or helpful in our journey. Sometimes just having answers or clearance can give you some peace in that moment. And I'm just like, that's the thing. That's like, you're constantly at a battle with this time with how long do you wait until you try this test again? Or how long do you wait until you do a cycle of treatment again? Like, there's so much, like, there's just a constant battle in your mind of, do we do this? Do we do that? Well, we know the ending of this, but we know the ending of that, and none of the ending is good. And so I feel like Tyler and I, especially with this year, it's been a journey of healing, but also a journey of trying to find direction with what's to come. Mm-hmm. And so that's been something in my heart. And I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but if you feel that way, I get it. I get the feeling of having no direction and not knowing what that direction should be, because none of the options are really available right now, or none of the options feel right. And I think that that's okay too, to sit in uncertainty of like what's right in your next step. To further the conversation of fear affecting the future while you're in this walk, I am absolutely terrified to make any next step. And I think that that's what's so heartbreaking is people or things that you see. Even for me, it's like, if I had unlimited resources, whether that was financially, mentally, physically, if that was just an unlimited thing that you could recover from quicker, there's roadblocks that sometimes feel impossible to get past. And that's where Tyler and I are at. And that's why this podcast is so important to us, is because we are sitting in multiple directional roadblocks of what's next. I am terrified to make the wrong financial decision. I'm terrified to make the wrong timing decision, like when's the right quote unquote time to do something, because up to this point, though things got really wild, I still felt like they were right in that moment. Even when they were stressful, even when they were heartbreaking, even when they were hard. But I'm terrified. It's crippling.
The fear of the future is, I mean, right, for the past and the present, we kind of already know what we're in. Like you said, we're healing. For our future, it's even more terrifying because we're going to be going to a new clinic. That's scary in its own. Mm-hmm. We're going to be walking back and doing the same conversations that we've had. That's terrifying in its own. So it's all terrifying. It's all going to get scary. It's going to be, I don't know, just walking into a new building is going to be terrifying, and just like, it's going to be like walking in for the first time, I feel like. How
we are supposed to go into the potential of going into treatment again in a clinic. I don't know how we're supposed to shut off everything we've been through specifically with IVF transfers in the past. Like, it's so hard to think that now there's still hope that there's a different outcome. And I think that that's not all encompassing, but I do think that that's a big part of this fear. Maybe fear is holding us back from going into doing any type of next step. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
With what we've done in the present, with taking a break and taking a step back and kind of gathering ourselves and gathering our life, I think that has settled down my fear, though. I think my fear was elevated to the point where I was going to like internally combust. I could say lightly now. But if a year ago you come to me and say, hey, we're going to do this, I think fear would have gone crazy. I think at that point I didn't even want to talk about it, let alone have a podcast. So just from a year in, the fear's gone away. There's still the fear of like everything that we just talked about with it failing again and, lightly going into like the depression state. I feel like we've been able to cope with that and we've learned our ways and like everything I just said. But like the fear of going into the transfers now, like I'm open to have conversations, not saying like tomorrow, let's do it. It's okay. I'm open to having conversations again, like go meet with the clinic. I'm open with, taking that next step and getting into that more. But I think what we did over this last year with taking time, making this, just being able to hash a lot of things out within ourselves, I think that's helped so much. I think that has gotten rid of a lot of the fear. And it's kind of like going to, going to any event, right? You go there and you're like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And then you go home and you actually realize it. You're like, oh, that was freaking cool. I feel like that's what just happened over the last 2 years. There was so much that happened, and finally at the end we were just like, okay, I'm done. Like, we have to take a break.
Yeah.
And then we finally were able to sit down and be like, what just happened? Right? Yeah. What did we go through? And there was a lot of I think there was a lot of fear, confusion, frustration,
pain.
What the hell just happened? And I think it's been nice to be able to just sit back and actually find ourselves, each other. It's been able to, I think, get rid of a lot of the fear for me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think with fear too, it's you can't trick it either. You can't trick fear into thinking, well, if I hit it at this angle, we'll have a different outcome. Or, it doesn't change any outcomes from before or in the future. But definitely for me, I just don't want fear to come over me like it has before. Because though it's always there, and there's really hard things that we have to constantly overcome, whether they're really small or really big, I just want even just the tiniest bit of peace in all areas that we can control to a point. Over the past few months, we have overcome obstacles that I don't think we could have overcome a year and a half ago.
No, even a year ago.
Definitely emotionally. I do feel like our effort is being reciprocated, and I really appreciate that. I think it's also really scary to put your foot forward again, because you're afraid of how people will respond or will treat you differently. To feel like our pain is being seen and supported in the ways that it has recently, I can feel it doing, and it's stirring other things in our lives for the better. It's like things are becoming healthier in certain areas in our lives. And I'm just thankful that we can at least hold on to that.
Mm-hmm. One of the main fears that we had over the last 2.5, 3 years, while we were kind of going, at first when we started going through our infertility journey, we shared a lot. Then we always had the fear of, okay, let's not tell anyone. And obviously with this podcast, our story's out there, and we're kind of
we dropped the veil.
Yeah, topics, it gets brought up, and I love everything about it. And I think if there's one thing that I wish we wouldn't have done is try to fight it alone. I think the fear of fighting this alone drags you down deeper.
Yeah.
I think there was many moments where we were depressed, and we would just tell people that we don't want to go out. But it was because we didn't want to say anything, right, when we were going through it. I think the fear of fighting it alone is just terrifying. Could you imagine going through this alone again?
No.
Could you imagine waking up every day?
That was a big part of why we spiraled into some of our darkest times that some will never be written publicly, or said publicly.
Could you imagine going through another transfer? And
no.
I think of every single thing that we went through, of all these stories that we've brought back up while making this podcast, and I just couldn't imagine doing it alone, right? I feel like even if we do an IVF transfer, but I don't know. I wanted to make a point of that fighting this alone is just not the way. You know?
And that doesn't mean you need to share things publicly per se. It just means find your people and
maybe you don't have people that are right there supporting you, but find this community. Find someone within it to be able to walk with you, because I say it like as strong as we could ever say it. We would scream it from a mountaintop.
Our fear episode is coming to a close, and I really felt like this one was going to be more emotional because it's something that's extremely present right now for us. So I think next week we are going to try to integrate a section in regards to things that we've received through our platforms, and just to bring some community into what we're doing.
Thanks for tuning into this episode. We will see you next week.